Camera also, please mute your camera and mic, all of you, to kindly ensure it. Good evening to all of you, and we welcome you all. And we welcome you not only in the course of business statistics you opted in the semester one, we also welcome you in the first day. I think in the first 2:30 to 3:30 you must have learned some other paper. What in this class, the on a teacher's day you are starting your class, and that subject is a business statistics, which is a course for you in the same one. Before starting the course and explaining it, basically your journey will move through two platforms. One which you are interacting through Microsoft Team, which is a synchronous learning platform, and second is a asynchronous learning platform. The asynchronous learning platform means 24/7 you can get your study material and continue your learning. So that is called learning management system, that is called LMS also. So that's why if you see on the screen, I have already opened your website imtcdl.ac.in. All of you please open your website now. All of you opened it. Please open this website. Here you have the student zone. All of you can see this student zone now on the screen. Can you see all of you? One person can open the mic and tell me. Can you see the LMS, this screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
and here is the learning management system, LMS. You just click this LMS button at your end and go to SSO login page. And here you click the put your form number and registered email ID and log in, right? And once you will log in, you will get an LMS, and maybe your LMS will look like this, wherein you have learning objective of the course. Let me tell you your learning objective of this course, business statistics course, which you can see on the screen. You opted the business statistics course, and why we have to learn the business statistics course in the semester one. All of you can think of, and maybe this question you can ask from me. So the objective is, because all of us are already knowing that we are surrounded with data, and all of you are knowing what is data. Any one of you can, if I will ask a question what is data, all of you will give an answer that any facts and figure is called data. All of you please note down, this is a very simple definition of data. If somebody will ask you what is data, you can write any facts and figure is called data. Am I clear to all of you? So please note down, all of us are surrounded by facts and figures. All of us are surrounded by data. And nowadays, if you are a business manager and if you are taking decision based on the feelings and perception, now what is there? Two type of decision makers are there in the business. One decision maker, one leader is there who is taking the decision on the basis of feelings and perception. Are you getting me? Unsuccessful, they will write an unsuccessful story of business. Today you joined IMTCDL because you don't want to become a leader wherein you can take a decision on the basis of feelings and perception. You want to take the decision on the basis of facts and figures. So facts and figures means on the basis of data. So managers in all type of business organizations, whether it is a private sector or a public sector, manufacturing sector or service industry, have to take decision on how to allocate the organization resources. Organization resources means man, material, machine, methods, and money. These decisions are made on the basis of facts and figures, that is called information. that is obtained using statistic. Information means meaningful data. Whatever facts and figures is there, that data you have to convert it into the information, and that information is a meaningful data, and any facts and figure is a data. That is the difference between data and information. What is data? Raw material, raw facts and figure. Raw material is data, and once you will process it and convert it into a meaningful form, that is the finished good, that is an information. So information that is obtained using statistical and decision making techniques called data analysis and decision making. So today you are in this world wherein you need to know how to capture the data, number one, how to organize the data, number two, how to visualize the data, number three, and how to analyze the data, analytics of the data, that is number four, and finally how to give the interpretation from that analysis, from that information, and what are the suitable things from that analysis apply into the business. So then your decision is fact based. Your decision is a qualitative, a quality decision, not a decision which is based on feelings and perception. That's why we have incorporated business statistics course in the semester one of the PGDM and PGM curriculum of IMT Center for Distance Learning program. So the objective of the course is to introduce some basic quantitative techniques frequently used in the business decision making. uh, we have to understand from this course the importance of data analysis for effective business decision making, fact based decision making. We will also, if you will complete this course, you will be in a position to explain how to assess the techniques and use them appropriately. And also you will learn after from this course, you can able to interpret the analytical information and apply in the business decision making. That's why this course we have incorporated into the semester one. This is the learning objective we have already given on the LMS. You can, I'm explaining you here, and the most important things here is once the learning objective you will understand, then what is the learning outcome from this course. So learning outcome from this course is once you will complete this course business statistics, you will be in a position three different things in your learning journey will enhance. And what are three important things enhances? Knowledge and understanding will go up on the part, because here in the knowledge and understanding parameter, when you will complete this business statistics course, you will understand range of basic quantitative techniques which you can use, how to use for visualization, how to use for analysis. That is the one knowledge part will increase and which will support in your decision making. So knowledge journey will go up. This is one learning outcome after at the end of this course. Then the second learning outcome at the end of this course is you will underline the assumptions, uses and limitations of this course. And the another important concept and understanding will come in you after completing this course is you will learn the practical use of statistical based spreadsheet modeling. So we will use the Excel, MS Excel, where we will explain you how to use the MS Excel for organizing the data, how to visualizing the data, and how the Excel can be used for analyzing the data. So that is another important learning outcome will come at the end of this course. And then we have some specific subject specific skill will also enhance, like spreadsheet modeling, organizing the quantitative technique suitable for data analysis, ability to use the Excel for basic modeling and data analysis. This is subject specific skill will increase in you. And in a transferable skills, the ability to collect, summarize, analyze and present data, that is the another very important things you will learn from this particular course. So these are the three different category of learning outcome we have encapsulated here in the discussion. Knowledge based learning outcome, subject specific skill based learning outcome, and transferable skill outcome. All these things together will enhance you and make you an effective and efficient business manager. Your business manager, which is who are till now takes the decision on the basis of feelings and perception. Now after completing this course, a manager will take the decision on the basis of facts, not on the basis of feelings and perception. That is the beauty of this course, and that's why we have incorporated this business statistics course in the semester 1. And you are here, and we are with you for every day every 12 in the 12 hours we will complete your whole courses. There are 14 chapters in this course. All the chapters I'm trying to explain you what are the various chapters are there. And in the LMS we have given all the chapter 1 to chapter 14. All the chapters are given in this particular LMS. Let me tell you what are the various chapters are there. And I think all of you have already got the SLM also from our side. In the SLM, if you will refer the different chapter names, let me read out all the chapter names. I hope all of you are cheating with this book. This book is there, which is there in my hand also. And in this, I have given a content page, and all the 14 chapters name I'm trying to read out. I'm going to enumerate the names of the chapter, and you just refer it here on the LMS. All the PowerPoints have been uploaded. Chapter 1, defining and collecting data, which you can see as a chapter 1, whereas in the course it is unit 1. Unit 2 is organizing and visualizing the variables. LMS, we have already uploaded the PowerPoint. Unit 3 is numerical descriptive measures, defining, collecting, and organizing and visualizing variables are there in unit 1 and unit 2. From unit 3 onward, you are going to enter into the analysis phase, where you are starting the numerical descriptive analysis. Then unit 4 is basic probability. Unit 5 is discrete probability distribution. Unit 6 is continuous probability distribution. Unit 7 is sampling distribution. Unit 8 is fundamental of hypothesis testing. Unit 9 is two sample test. Unit 10 is analysis ANOVA, analysis of variance. Unit 11 is chi-square test. Unit 12 is simple linear regression. Unit 13 is simulation modeling, and unit 14 is index number. So these are the 14 units are there. Every day means today is the day 1 of the class. So every day we will take one unit and we will try to complete it, right? So first day, today is the first day, and in the first day you will learn defining and collecting data. That is the agenda of day 1. So you will learn defining and collecting data today. Before entering into the Before entering into the discussion of Unit 1, let me introduce myself because I am your instructor today and I will cover you the business statistics. I am Dr. N.M. Misra that you can see on the screen. I have just opened it. Dr. N.M. Misra, your instructor, professor who is going to teach you the business statistics course. I'm the alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and BHU. I'm the professor here in IMT from last 12 years, and continuously about my profile you can refer from this website which is there and that I'm showing you here. And the important things here, let me share you once again that my email ID, that is very important for you. Please note down my email ID. My email ID is nmmisra@imtcdl.ac.in, and my mobile number is 931-220-8371. So this is the two important information as an instructor I am sharing you. If you have any doubt continuously, if you are facing any difficulty or doubt, you can write a mail to me and you can send an WhatsApp message to me also. So this is the important information I have shared to you. Now I am just taking you to the platform from where we will start the journey of learning statistics. Can you see all of you? Am I with you? One person just open your mic and respond. Can you see all of? Am I with you?
Yes, we
Yes.
are able to see.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
this is yes, we are going to start now. We have already given you the brief introduction of the course, objective, learning outcome, what are the various chapters is there, and every day we will take one chapter, one unit, and we will discuss it. Today is the unit 1, defining and collecting data. In the chapter 1, all of you will learn the types of variable used in the statistics. That is the important thing you will learn today. Hello. The second thing you will learn the scale of measurement. What are the various scale are used for measuring the variables? The third important thing we will learn how we have to collect the data, facts and figure. The fourth thing we will learn, we will try to define the different way of collecting the data or collecting the samples. And if the time will permit, we will talk about the various type of survey errors. What is survey and census, that also we will talk. And then we will share you the PowerPoint to all of you. We will take you to one platform where you will do some multiple choice questions. So this is the journey of today. So first of all, I am going to start the first important topic of this unit is types of variable used in the statistics. All of you know why you are learning statistics, but what are the various types of variable we are using in statistics? There are two types of variable we are using in statistics. Am I clear? The first is called categorical variable and second one is called numerical variables. Let me try to ask from all of you. If I will ask you that which drink you prefer, suppose from all of you are participating here, and if I will ask from all of you that which drink you prefer, so somebody will say I like mango drink, somebody will say I like orange drink, somebody will say Pepsi drink,
Red
Coca.
Bull.
Ah, yes, yes, anything you can say, right? So this is a the information. Important thing is whatever the facts and figure just now you provided, it is in the form of text. Am I clear? So any data, if you are providing in the form of text, that is called categorical variable. Suppose if I will ask you what is your name, just now one of the individual have told that my preferred choice of drink is this X. So then I will ask you what is your name. Then again you will respond in the form of text only. So any type of data which is coming in the form of text is called categorical variables. Am I clear to all of you? So the first type of variable is categorical variable, that is qualitative in nature, have a value that can only be placed into categories. The second type of variable is called numerical variable. Means any type of data which is picking in the form of numbers, then it is called numerical variable. In the form of quantitative form, that is called numerical variable. So variables are of two types, categorical variables and numerical variables. Further, the numerical variables are classified into two categories. One is called discrete variable and second one is called continuous variable. How many books you have? If I am asking you a question, how many books you have?
6.
Can you tell? 6. So 6 you are getting from your counting process. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this any type of data you are collecting from counting, that is called discrete variable. 6 is a number. It's a numerical variable, but it is a discrete numerical variable because the data is coming from the counting. Now I am asking you what is your height. So if you will say my height is 181.5 centimeter. So data which is coming from the measurement, either you measure in meter, kilometer, liter, kiloliter, grams, kilogram, second, minutes, or hours. Any type of a scale you take it and measure it and write the measurement, that is called continuous numerical variables. Am I with you, friends? Am I clear? What is the difference between discrete numerical variables and continuous numerical variables? So this is the important thing you must try to understand. I am trying to explain with the help of this flow chart also. Variables is of two types, categorical and numerical. Any variable which is in the form of text is a categorical variable. Like you can see the examples are given on the PowerPoint slide. Numerical, any type of variable which is in the form of numbers is a numerical variable, and numerical variables are coming from two process, one either by counting or by measurement. If the numerical, I request please very important thing is happening here during the corona time is control is there in your hand and you have to show your discipline. Please mute your unmute. If I will say unmute your mic, you unmute it. If you will mute your mic, you can mute it. So I request all of you, those who are please mute your mic, otherwise I will face a difficulty. Am I with you, friends? One individual, keep your mic
Yes,
on.
sir.
Very
Yes,
nice.
sir.
So continuous variable are coming from the measurement. Discrete variables are coming from the counting. That is the difference between these two. So now all of you understood the type of variables. So this is the one learning outcome we have completed. The second learning outcome is measurement scale. So there are four type of measurement scale is there. Level of measurement. Four type of measurement scale is there. Please note down all of you. First one is nominal scale of measurement. Second one is ordinal scale of measurement. Third one is interval scale of measurement. And fourth one is ratio scale of measurement. I am trying to elaborate with the help of one example. If I will ask you which one, who is your internet provider, and somebody is saying that my internet provider is Reliance Jio, Airtel. So it is a nominal scale of measurement. If I will ask you what is your name, so if somebody will say my name is Ram, so it is a nominal scale of measurement. If I will ask you what is your height, and you are saying that my height is 181 centimeter, The nominal scale of measurement. If I will ask you what is your salary, $5,000, it is a nominal scale of measurement. Now, the second type of scale of measurement, so one way where you are collecting, capturing the exact value or the exact categorical variable or exact numerical variable, then it is called nominal scale of measurement. Now coming to the ordinal, as per the salary, what is your position in the organization? Here I am not asking you your salary, right? I am only asking you as per the salary, what is your position? And if you are saying as per the salary, my position is fifth in the organization. So this is a scale of measurement, and that is a ordinal scale of measurement. As per the height, what is your position in the class? As per the height, my position is 10th in the class. So 10th is a ordinal scale of measurement. As per the position, as per the marks, marks obtained, what is your position in the class? I am the topper in the class. So this is the ordinal scale of measurement. Am I clear? So this is the second type of measurement scaling. Third type of measurement scaling is, I am not going to ask you what is your age. I'm not going to ask you your father's age. I'm just going to ask you what is the age difference between you and your father. And if you are saying age difference between me and my father is 30 years, 30 years. From this, you cannot conclude what is your age and what is your father's age. But you must say that the age difference between me, Ram, and Ram's father is 30 years. So this is a type of a scale of measurement. This is also a 30 years is a data, but this data is coming out, emerging from a scale of measurement, and this scale of measurement is an interval scale of measurement. Here, because the question is like that, wherein you have to supply the data which is related to a interval scale of measurement. So the question, whatever you are asking, accordingly you have to select the scale of measurement. So everything, scale of measurement is depending upon what type of data you are looking for. Are you looking for a ordinal type of ascending or descending type of data? Supply the ordinal scale of measurement. Are you looking for exact categorical type of data? Supply the nominal scale of measurement. Are you looking for a comparative data? Supply the interval scale of measurement. If I will ask you how many participants in this batch are techno graduates and how many participants are non-techno graduates, somebody will say 300 is a techno graduates and 400 is a non-techno graduates. Instead of saying that, we can say the ratio of techno graduates and non-techno graduates is 3:4. So that is a type of a scale of measurement. This scale of measurement is called ratio scale of measurement. Am I with you? Am I clear to all of?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
yes, these are the type of measurement which is being elaborated here in your unit number 1. Coming to the next important topic, third learning outcome. And the third learning outcome is what are the various sources of data and how we have to collect the data. Data are collected through two different sources. One is called primary source and other one is called secondary source. Just now I asked, am I with you? So you responded, yes, I am with you. I understood what is the meaning of measurement scale. I can feel now that you understood the four type of scale of measurement. So this data wherein you are saying yes and sometime you are saying no, this is a primary data wherein instantly I'm capturing your response and that response is captured during a well-defined time frame. That is called primary source. Various type of primary sources are available for collecting the data, and the data which is collected through the primary source is called primary data. Primary source of data collection have been elaborated in your unit number 1. If you will refer, is a observation method, questionnaire method, interview method, and these are the common three method. Other methods you can use, like Google form is one of the way. You can create a Microsoft form, Google form, or any type of virtual form. You can send the link through WhatsApp, you can send through email and collect the response. This is called primary source of data collection, and data which is collected through the primary source is called primary data. Am I clear? Please note down, whatever the data you are collecting through this primary source or primary method of data collection, most commonly used primary source or primary source of data collection is observation method and questionnaire method. Secondary source of data, the data which is collected through the secondary source is called secondary data. Whatever the data which is already recorded in your data warehouse or which is there in your company on the files or records or in the journals or magazines or in some database, that sources of data is called secondary source. These are the past records, past data, and that past data you are capturing it, you are taking it and using it for organizing, visualizing and analyzing. Then that data is called secondary data. So we have elaborated here the various type of data, the primary data and secondary data, and the sources of collecting primary data and secondary data. Now coming to the next very important topic and very key topic of the day. If you are collecting the data from all the employee of your organization, then it is the total number of employees whoever is working in your organization is called population. Can you see all of you the word population here? It is written on the top. Population means total number of employee in the organization, and population is represented by a symbol capital N. All of you please note down, that is the first statistical learning of the day. Capital N stands for symbol I'm talking about. Capital N stands for population. Am I clear? Capital N stands for total population of the, if I will say what is the total population of India, 130 crore. So 130 crore is the capital N. Am I clear? So
135 crore.
Okay, 135 crores. Very nice. Thank you very much. It is the population, and which is represented by a symbol capital N. Am I clear? Suppose if I will ask you how many employees are working in your company. So suppose if you are saying we have 5,000 employees who are working in my company. So the 5,000 is the total population of your company. So population consists of all the items or individual about which you want to draw a conclusion. The population is large group. Simple, because if you want to interact with all the 5,000 employee and collect the data, it is economical. It is not at all economical. It is costly and time consuming also. But we can do. If you are collecting the data from all the 5,000 employee of your organization, the process of collecting the data from the population is called census. Please note down all of you. This is called census. Process of collecting the data from whole population is called census, and census is costly, census is time consuming, but the benefit of the census is it is error free. Please note down, this is the very important thing. Census is time, disadvantage of census is it is time consuming and costly, but the advantage of census is the whatever the result will come from the population, that is error free. So to reduce the time and to reduce the cost, we have to collect the data from few individual from the population, and then we have to organize, visualize and analyze, and then we have to give the interpretation. So collecting the data from few respondent of the population is called survey. If you are collecting the data from few individual of the population is called survey. And the few individual who are participating in the survey, who are giving the response, that they are called sample. Am I clear? Sample is represented by a symbol small n. Suppose you have identified 50 respondent from the whole population, then 50 is your sample size. And if whatever the data you are collecting from these 50, that data is called survey data. And whatever the data you are collecting from all the 50,000, that is called census data. Am I clear? Am I with you, friends? Understood what is the difference between population, census,
Yes, sir.
survey?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
very nice.
sir.
In this PowerPoint slide, I'm trying to show with the help of, this is the population where all 5,000 in the left hand side, all 5,000 is going to participate in your data as a respondent. This is census. In the right hand side, we have picked some red dotted people who is going to participate in your survey, give the response, that is survey. These red dotted people are sample. This is a difference between population and sample. Population is wherever you see capital N, you understood the business manager is talking about population. Wherever a small n you can see, you can think that business manager is talking about sample. So this is all about what is population and what is sample. But the important thing is how to pick this individual from this population set, whole population set. What are the method of picking the individual from the population as a sample is called sampling. There are various methods. There are two type of methods are there which is used for picking the individual as a sample, as a respondent, and that method I'm going to explain in the next slide. Sampling method. In this PowerPoint slide you can see there are two methods are used, two types of techniques we are using for sampling, that is called types of samples, also we call it in this unit. Types of sample are two type of samples are there. One is non-probabilistic sample, another one is called probabilistic sample. Please note down. Non-probabilistic sample, each and every individual is not having an equal opportunity to get selected. If each and every individual is not having an equal opportunity to get selected as a respondent from the population database, then that type of sample is called non-probabilistic sample. Suppose if you have a 5,000 population capital N and you want 50, each and every respondent is not having an equal opportunity to get selected, then it is a non-probabilistic sample. But each and every individual of the population 5,000 is having an equal opportunity to get selected, then that type of sample is called probabilistic sample. So if you have 5,000 population, so each and every individual is having an opportunity to get selected 1 by n, means 1 by 5,000. Every individual is having a chance to get selected. So another way you can see non-probabilistic sampling is of two type. One is convenient sampling. I know from this set that you know Dr. Mishra, in your 5,000 people who are working in your organization, you are already knowing few individual. 50 individual you are already knowing of your company. As per your convenience, you pick that 50 individual. As per your choice, you pick that 50 as a respondent for your data set, for giving the response that if you are making a question, if you wanted to know whether employees are satisfied with their company or not, for that purpose you are doing a survey, and as per your choice you picked 50 people who is known to you and ask, are you satisfied with your company? So this type of sampling is called convenient sampling, which is coming under the category of non-probabilistic sampling. Am I clear? So as per your choice, you are picking the respondent. Now, here each and every individual is not having an equal opportunity to get selected in a convenient sampling because you are picking as per your choice. The second type of non-probabilistic sampling is judgmental sampling. Ladies and gentlemen, judgmental sampling, you have already picked one very experienced person of your company and you ask them, please suggest 50 individual who can give the response on this survey that whether they are satisfied with their company or not. So that experienced employee of the company suggested Ram is a very good respondent, Syam Kolelo, Mohan Kolelo, like that he has suggested 50 people, and that 50 people you incorporated as a respondent, you incorporated as a sample for the 50 respondent, then it is called a judgmental sample. Once again, if you will see this judgmental sampling, here also each and every individual of 5,000 is not having an equal chance to get selected. So non-probabilistic sampling is a technique under which two categories are there, convenient and judgmental method. Now coming to the probabilistic sampling. I think all of you understood me. Probabilistic sampling where each and every individual is having an equal opportunity to get selected. How an equal opportunity you can provide? Suppose 5,000 employees are there in your company. Each employee is having their employee ID. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Take the employee ID on a piece of paper, write down in a piece of paper, make 5,000 employee ID slip, put it in a box, call a small boy and tell them do a lottery, pick 50 from that. Randomly you pick 50 slip from that box. Lottery system. So here you are giving equal opportunity to each 5,000 to get selected. So this equal opportunity you are providing, this is a probabilistic sampling in a lottery system. So this lottery system is of 4 types: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. In this PowerPoint, we have already elaborated what is this convenient sampling and judgmental sampling. You can read, which is there. We will share you this PowerPoint right now. Items are selected based only on a fact that they are easy. Judgmental sampling as per experience, simple random, systematic, stratified, and cluster. We have already elaborated what is simple random sampling, what is a stratified sampling, what is cluster sampling. And so let me explain you with an illustration. Simple random sampling, simple lottery system. Simply you put in a box and pick 50. This is called simple random sampling. Now in a systematic sampling, what you did is you have divided that box. You made 3 boxes, 1 box for a postgraduate employee, 1 box for a graduate employee, 1 box for a non-graduate employee. 3 boxes are there, and graduate employee you put in a 1 box, and you told the a small boy who is going to pick that you pick the 20 slip from the graduate box, 20 slip from non-graduate box, and 10 slip from postgraduate box. And like that, you made a systematic boxes and randomly you picked it. That is called systematic sampling. That is also a type of probabilistic sampling, wherein you are giving the proportionate representation of each systems. Am I clear? Now, a stratified sampling. You have divided your whole organization population into 2 strata, male strata and female strata. You made 2 boxes. All the male employees, employee ID you kept in 1 box, and female employee ID in another box, and you told boy that pick 25 slip from male employee box and 25 slip from women employee box. So you have, again, you are giving the equal representation of 2 strata, male and female strata, but the method is random pick. and equal and chances of selection is equal for all the strata people. So this is a stratified sampling. Now cluster sampling is also a type of probabilistic sampling where you are making the cluster organization north zone, south zone, east zone, like that. You have a different department is also a cluster: HR department, marketing department, IT department, finance department. Each employee ID you kept in a other department box, and then you told your 5 departments are there. You told a small boy that each box, 5 box, you pick 10 slips from each box. So here equal representation you are giving to all the department, and 10 equally you are picking from all the department, and by way of, and the method is again the simple random sampling, that is called clustrified sampling. So probabilistic sampling is of 4 types: simple random, systematic, stratified, and cluster sampling. Am I clear to all of you? So this is all about the
Yes, sir.
type of sampling I have elaborated here. And I think this PowerPoint I'm going to share with you. You can read it. Now, the fourth and the last important topic is in the process you might have seen the sampling is of sampling out of 5,000 you are picking 50, and sometime you are giving using non-probabilistic sampling method, sometime you are using probabilistic sampling method. So there is a chance of error. Somebody will not respond. Out of 50, suppose 40 people have responded, 50 have not, 10 have not responded. So again it will create an error. So that is called non-response error. These are the type of survey error. You can see here: coverage error, selection bias. If you have picked all the employee from a HR department, so everybody will say yes, very good things is going on. So this is called selection bias. Non-response: out of 50 you have already 10 have not responded. So again, whatever the interpretation you will give, that is full of errors. This is the second type of error you can observe: selection bias, non-response bias. Third is a sampling error, variation from samples. We always exist. And measurement error: if you have not selected a proper scale of measurement, again you will get your data, you will, whatever the data you are collecting, that data have the full of error. So these are the various types of error you will come across, and that is being elaborated in this discussion. So we have just covered the chapters which we have explained here. Now, how to do the sampling? All of you can see now. All of you, please open the Excel. We have covered all the 4 topics of the unit 1, but now the learning, Excel learning, how to do the sample, how to do the sampling using Excel. So how many types of sampling you learned? Non-probabilistic sampling and probabilistic sampling. Am I clear? So non-probabilistic sampling, suppose you have employee 5,000 employee, so your capital N is 5,000. Am I clear? Capital N I am taking here, and your capital N in population is 5,000. And you want sample. How many sample you are looking for? 50 sample. I'm just going to take, because of time constant, I'm going to take 10 sample here. So n is equal, small n is equal to 10. I will pick 10 sample, right? So 2 methods are there. One method is a non-probabilistic sampling method. Each one is not having an equal opportunity to get selected. Suppose employee ID is starting from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is going up to 5,000. So you can use convenient sampling. You can pick any as per your choice. Suppose you picked, I know you know employee ID 23, 34, 45, 67, 890, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. You pick the as per your convenient or as per your experiment, judgmental support, whatever the things you got it, you have just mentioned here. Am I clear?
Yes,
This
sir.
This type of sampling is called, this 10 sample is a non-probabilistic sample, which is coming from my convenience or my judgment. Now the second type of sampling, this is a non-probabilistic NPS, non-probabilistic sampling. Now I am going to explain you how to do the probabilistic sampling, lottery. So in the probabilistic sampling, you are going to giving you an equal opportunity to each respondent to get selected. So in this case, you use a function in Excel. That function is called rand between function. All of you please write here. Open your Excel and write right now. Equal to sign rand between. What is the bottom employee ID? 1. And what is the top employee ID? 5,000. Am I clear? So this particular function of Excel will do a simple random sampling. Simple random sampling means lottery. From 1 to 500, all the employee ID, this Excel is putting into a box and randomly picking one. Are you getting me? So that just now I am pressing enter. Which one is my first respondent? With an employee ID 797. In this process, each individual have got an equal opportunity to get selected. Now I want 10. So what I have to do is I have to drag the 10. So 8 to 18. Got it? All of you got it? You see, this is a randomly picked employee ID came, which is our respondent. But if I will press the enter time and again, because this is function based, so it will change time and again. So what you do is you select all this number, press Ctrl C and paste somewhere else. So by press enter, you have a paste option. Place the value only. Paste the value. Don't paste simple paste. Paste the value paste option. So once I pasted the value paste option, this time and again this particular cell will change. I7 cell, I8 cell will change, but this cell which is there, you have already picked the L here. This will not change because this is finally you have picked. This is your respondent 743862946 These are the respondent you have. Am I clear? So how to do simple random sampling? All of you understood? Anyone is having any doubt? Please tell me.
No, sir.
Okay. Now let us come to the from where you will get the PowerPoint and Q&A time. I am taking you here. I am sharing you one link to all of you. On the chat box, I shared you a link. Please click this link, all of you, at your end. Please click this link, all of you, at your end. All of you pressed it? If yes, please. Got it? Here, this platform, you will get it here. Here on the chapter, you see here, we have already uploaded defining and collecting data, chapter 1. Can you see, all of you? I have already uploaded the PowerPoint. You can just see here, all this PowerPoint is already there on this. You can refer it. Slides are there. All 34 slides I have already uploaded for you. Now, this is the time to do the question. Why I have, this is the PowerPoint, you will get it. You can enhance your learning. Now, this is a time for Q&A. Do a question and answer. Whatever we learned, we have to do a question and answer. You click here, questions. The second box is a question box. Click the question box. You will get a link. All of you got it? This particular question practice. Business Statistics OPM C001 question practice. Please see the question practice. The first question, all of you read it and answer it. Two questions I have given to you. Till now, whatever you have learned, please go through and answer it. A company has developed a new computer microprocessor whose average lifetime is unknown. In order to estimate this average, 300 microprocessors are randomly selected. 300 microprocessors are selected using which method? Random method. Random means holistic sampling methods. Simple random sampling from a large production line and tested. Their average lifetime is found to be 7 years. The 300 microprocessor represents 300 microprocessor is what? It represents the parameter, statistics, sample, population. Now all of you click there button. Don't speak. You just click whatever answer you are feeling is a correct, that you click it there. Automatically the answer will come on my deck. I will see who have clicked which option. Am I with you, friends? Question number 1 is clear to all of you. Third question, yes, second question. A random sample of 100 students is taken at, try to understand which sample I have taken. Random sample means probabilistic sample, simple random sample of 100 students is taken at Learn All University, IMTCDL, and it found that their average GPA is 3.1. If this information is used to help estimate the average GPA for all students at Learn All University, which branch of statistics was applied? Descriptive statistics, sample statistics, inferential statistics, population statistics. Click the answer and press the submit button. This is the important two questions I asked, which is based on your reflection, whatever you learned from this 1 hour class. Please do it. Let us come to the next things what you have to do, because this is a continuous learning, right? So I have developed a continuous third platform here. Write your reflection of today's class in 100 words and attach it. One beautiful thing of this platform is you can write from there. Please click anywhere and write it. Please click, all of you, and write anything. Yes. See, you have just written it. So I am requesting all of you, you must go through the PowerPoint, do this chapter 2 questions, go through the first chapter of the SLM and write in your own word, 100 words only, not more than 100 words, what you have learned from this unit 1. This is my request. That is called reflection sheet. So I have, you can see here, some of your friends have already given some reflection sheets. You can read it, and I hope I will share you who have written a best reflection. Number 1. Secondly, whenever you write the reflection, you write your name also. Don't forget to write your name. Must write your name and roll number. That will be beneficial for us. So this is all about from my sides pertaining to this Padlet platform is concerned. Please follow this, whatever I am telling you, the guidelines. Download the PPT, do the 2 questions, write the reflection, and finally read the unit 1 from this SLM. And with this, I am just concluding the class from my side, and I have already done my Q&A. This is your time. If you have any doubt, you can write the question. This is a Q&A time. Write your question now on a chat box. I will respond. Any questions? Any questions if you have, please write down on the chat box. This is Q&A time. Before concluding the day, this is a Q&A time. Yes, and somebody can pertaining to the discussion of the chapter number 1 only, right? Right. I will pick few questions only because it is some of you are asking what is the type of probabilistic sampling, cluster, stratified, and systematic sampling and simple random sampling. What is the difference between rand between and copy and paste? Okay, very good. Now stop asking the question. Last is what is the answer of the second questions? That we will tell you in the Sunday only. Next class, unit 2, we will tell you, and there I will give you the answer. What is the original scale? Some of you have asked. Very good. So we have 2 minutes time to answer. Now stop writing a question, right? Okay. So if you have any question, you can write on a Padlet or my email ID or WhatsApp you. I will share you. Don't worry. Now I will take these many questions. The first question being asked, mostly you are trying to know what is the probabilistic sampling and what are the 4 type of probabilistic sampling. So probabilistic sampling is a lottery type of sampling where every individual is having an equal opportunity to get selected. Suppose your population size is 5,000, so the probability of getting selected of one individual is 1 by 5,000. Probabilistic sampling is unbiased sampling. Everyone is getting an opportunity to get selected. So you will get an accurate, error-free information, error-free data. That is the beauty of probabilistic sampling. Probabilistic sampling is of 4 type. Uh, Simple random sampling means normal lottery. You can use rand between function. I have already demonstrated through Excel. You can use it. If you are not able to understand, you can ask me again. Rand between function. Some of you have already asked why you are pasting the function instead of value, because the function based things you will paste continuously time and again. If you will press the enter, it will change. So instead of that, you can continuously take the value paste, then it will not change. That's why you use the simple random sampling. Systematic sampling means we want the equal proportionate response respondent from different systems. Different system, maybe in your organization you have a system that there is level 1 employee, level 2 employee, and level 3 employee. You want the equal proportionate response from level 1, level 2, and level 3. Then you can make a system, and from each level 1 you pick the 10, level 2 you pick the 10, level 3 you pick the 40, 30. So this is the way. This is called systematic sampling. Systematic and random. Then stratified sample, you divide you have already have a strata in your organization, male strata, female strata, a group. So you take the male employee in a box, pick the sample from the randomly pick the employee. Male employees 25, female employees 25. That is called stratified sampling. Similarly, in your organization you have a different divisions. So division is a cluster. So each divisions you pick the proportionate number of respondent by using random sampling lottery method. That is called stratified sampling, cluster sampling. This is the way you can go through, you can read it. These are the 4 type of sampling we have elaborated. Now the few questions are there which is pertaining to what is the difference between, can you please explain the difference between population and the sample. Population is your total number of employees in your organization is a population represented by capital N, and sample is few people you are picking to respond. That is called sample. So I think more or less almost all the related questions I have answered, and do feel whatever the questions you have, you write on the reflection sheet, 100-word reflection, whatever you want to know. That's why I shared you the Padlet platform. You write it there, we will respond on each and every response, right? So thank you very much. Our journey starts from today. It is a continuous journey through that Padlet platform. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
those
sir.
those who are feeling those those questions which some of you have questions not answered. So for them, Padlet is there. So thank you very much. We will meet you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.